Boom. What's going on, everyone? It's Rahman Mustafa.
Emmanuel Hope.
And this is the Ends to Excellence podcast. Thank you for joining us. Today we have a special guest with us, André Hackett.
Jeez.
Yo.
Come on.
What's going on,
Come
brother?
on. Come on.
What's going on, brother?
What's happening?
So, nothing much, bro. So, for all those that don't know, André Hackett is an award-winning entrepreneur, a long-term business partner of Fuse ODG, Grammy award-winning Fuse ODG.
Yeah, come on.
Sold millions of records globally. Andre's been instrumental in building Fuse ODG's brand, and raising investments and scaling businesses to where it is today. So, thank you for joining us, André. Appreciate
thanks for having me, guys.
Cheers, man.
Really appreciate it.
So yes, one of the first things we ask all of our guests is, what ends are you from, brother?
M-Town.
M-Town.
Mitcham.
I didn't know anyone as M-Town.
If you're from M-Town, you know.
I even know that as a town, bro.
Wow.
Not even London.
Yeah.
Wow.
People try to say that, Croydon. Nah, it's Mitcham.
Mitcham, yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah,
Let's go, my fellow Ghanaians in there. So.
It's a Ghana hotspot, to be honest.
I appreciate that one.
Rep your ends, bro. Cool. And what would you say you're excelling in? What industry would you say you're excelling in?
So mainly work in the music business. It's, to be honest, I never kind of set out to go into music, but I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and work for myself. And, at where we're at now, it kind of expands outside of the music sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, really just, entrepreneurship and running businesses that actually serve the community. That's kind of our main kind of focus and ethos at the moment sort of thing.
Dope. So what was your first step into entrepreneurship, or was it music first?
No, I guess it was kind of more social entrepreneurship. So Fuse and I, we both grew up in Mitcham. He's like my next door neighbor, basically. So, around the time I was going uni, and actually around the time we were at college, it was mad at the time that a lot of people were getting killed, going to prison. I had family members going to prison, getting stabbed, and like at that time we all had someone or two or three people we knew who'd gone through something like that. And so it was weird because I did my first year of uni, and people were applying for like all of these internships and in investment banking and all of these things, and there's a program called SEO. I don't know if
I've heard of it,
know about it. So I was looking at, okay, maybe I can get into that. So the first year I tried to because I didn't know anything about banking. I'm from Mitcham. You know what I'm saying?
M-Town.
Yeah. So I was lucky I even got to work, so I was trying to fill out the forms over the summer holidays, and it was like, show an example of where you showed exceptional leadership. How many languages do you speak? What computer program language you speak? And I actually couldn't say I had nothing to write. So I was like, okay, this summer I need to do something. So and in the midst of all of that environment back at home in London, so Fuse and I was like, all right, let's try and do something to kind of give the young people in our area something to stay out of trouble. So we would always make music in his house anyway, whilst I was at college. After that, I'd be going to his place, and everyone in his block would go to his house because he managed to make some makeshift crazy studio with basically the mic was stuck onto the wall with blue tack and we had a tissue as pop shield. But we just used to go in there and record and make music, and it was just fun. So everyone used to do that, and so we thought, let's put a proposal together to the council and see if we can actually get the young people to, do this project. So we put in the bid, and they gave us like $5,000 to actually, put on the project. So we put on the project over summer. We had we did like music, art, dance, drama, poetry. But the idea was actually to try and get the young people in that hood to kind of realize, okay, where you are, things are not great, but on the bigger scale of things, in the worldwide scale, you're actually very, very lucky. So we got them to use the skills that they learned to actually raise money to try and build a school in Ghana.
Dope.
So it was mad, and the impact it had on the kids was just mind blowing, because they were like these were like terrors. These kids. And it was mad. And actually, some of them, it was sad because some of them actually didn't really have very good literacy skills and all these things. But they were coming to the project and they were writing their lyrics and they're talking about these kids in Africa that they want to help. So it was crazy. It actually had a big influence on their mind. And so we did that and started doing it every year. And then basically one day a school walked into our class and they were like, "Oh, can you bring this to our school?"
Okay.
So we're like, yeah, if you're gonna pay. So yeah, we rocked up and we took that studio that we took down to the estate and we just started taking it around with us and did that school. Then word started spreading. We started going into loads of schools and then colleges and then somehow actually someone who lived very, very close to me worked in the National Probation Service. Okay. So she, the local newspaper did a story about us and they saw us and she was like, "Can you come in and do some work at our prison?" So we actually managed to get the course accredited. So when you did the course, you actually got an AQA certificate. Yeah. So
that's cool.
We actually managed to get into the National Probation Service. So there was like our biggest clients, and we were actually working with like the highest risk offenders. Okay. So Fuse was actually banging out the workshops, and I was getting the business in. So
how was that though? Like being all these high risk offenders.
It was mad because.
So what was you actually doing with them? Like you getting them to write lyrics as well?
We're showing them how to make music. So we're showing them how to produce, how to write songs, and then but there was extra things that they would get out of it, like teamwork and how to come together and how to like structure things. So. But no, it was mad actually. Sometimes so you had different centers where like they had different types of offenders. Okay. So the first one we went into was in Tulse Hill. Mad. It was peak. Like, and there was one guy that was like, I don't know what happened, but he wasn't really like, he wasn't playing along with the rules. And so he and I actually ended up getting into a little confrontation. Obviously, I'm trying to keep it professional. Yeah, of course. But he's like, "Watch, fam, when you're out here, when I catch you on road," he said, "Watch when I catch you on road and speak." I like, cool, but I was like, damn, because these are like real gangbangers. Yeah. So there was gang offenders and also sex offenders as well. Okay. But you couldn't tell who was who, but you could kind of tell who was who. Yeah. But yeah, so but it was funny because at the end of it, he ended up really respecting us, and it was cool.
Good camaraderie.
He got his like some of them, they never had a qualification before, never had any GCSE, so this was the first time they were getting qualifications. So that was our first exposure to kind of entrepreneurism, and actually I guess I would say actually setting up the first project was the first exposure because we had to hire staff, we had to manage staff, we had to manage a budget, we had to market what we were doing, get people in. So that was a huge eye opener for Fuse and I, and it just kind of flowed in, and we found our space within our business. He was the one who would execute stuff, and I'd get the business in. We found our partnership, and that kind of just continued into everything else that we did later on.
So, at what stage was that into Fuse that we know now, music? Like, was that like super early? Or?
Yeah, it was pretty early. So I think we were doing that for about 2-3 years out of uni. Yeah. Like that was literally I went straight into that. Okay. I mean, to be honest, actually, so we were the same age, but he didn't do well in his first year of college, so he had to repeat a year. Okay. So I was waiting for him to get out. Yeah. So
sounded like his pen,
Yeah, that's how it felt. You know how uni felt come the last years. Yeah.
Trying to finish them.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough the first year. Literally, like, you only eat what you kill, sort of thing. The first 6 months, actually, to go on JSA to actually like
to keep it going,
just to keep alive and keep surviving, sort of thing. But that was just. I just after doing that youth project, I just felt like I can't even work for anyone. I became unemployable at that point because it's like I knew I could do something. So there was no way I was gonna work for anyone, but I had to in that meantime do something. So I was doing lots of odd jobs, like I was teaching maths, I was doing tutoring, I was doing loads of different things just to keep it going at the start. And then when he came out, then we went like full time hard at it, sort of thing.
So when you came out, when you both finished uni, was it straight into music? Or
music was always there. Remember I told you at college time. We're always making music. We never stopped making music.
Like Rwanda or something like that.
Yes, exactly. So we were always making music, put songs out, and But then yeah, around 2011, so about 2 years in, because I graduated 2009, so 2011, and actually I was at uni and I started hearing all of this Afro beats. Like a lot of the Nigerians were playing me music, and I was just like, yo, this is like, they played me at the band song, and I was like, yo, this is mad. Like, took it back to Fuse and started playing. He's like, wow, this is crazy. Like, cause these were funky times.
Yeah.
Everyone here was making funky. We were making like whatever. Like, so he's playing the Afrobeats music, and then he started getting into it, and then he was like, nah, do you know what? I want to go back to Ghana and just connect. And he hadn't been back to Ghana since he first came, like when he was like 11.
Got you.
So we kind of got all our money together and managed to get him a plane ticket out there, because we're still early in the business. We wasn't making much, but we managed to get him a flight out there. And I was looking after the youth project and everything. And so yeah, he went out there, went to Ghana for like 2-3 weeks. And yeah, he came back telling us about this dance called a Zonto.
Mad.
Yeah. Like, me and the kids were like, what is wrong with this guy? Gone to Africa and lost his mind. So he was trying to do the dance. And at the time it was like, he hadn't really caught it, so we was thinking, what did you catch something out there? Like, he was doing some mad dancing. So then funny enough, they actually started the song Azonto in the youth project.
Okay.
Like, with the kids. Like,
that's cool.
So they started it. And but when he was out there, we went out there and met with producer Killbeats, who's like one of the biggest producers in Africa. And he had loads of hits, and the biggest in Ghana from then till to date. So you know Killbeats. So yeah, they just linked up via Twitter, literally. That was it. Like, messaged him and he was like, "Can I come?" Killbeats was like, I don't know what made Killbeats say yes to Fuse at that time, because he didn't have nothing. Like, but yeah, they actually went to Tema, went and linked up. I remember the Fuse was telling me the story. He got there and Killbeats was late, and he was there with his cousin Jeff, and Jeff was like, "Nah, Charlie, let's go. We're gonna get robbed." Because this is in the hood, like they're just there, like waiting for Killbeats to turn up, and then they were about to leave, and then Killbeats came in, and then. Yeah, basically.
Everyone listening.
The rest is history.
Ghana's not like that. Number one, Ghana safe. Number two, we always roll late anyway. So
yeah, you're just late. But that's another thing though, because you come from London, and you come with a London mentality. You think every guy that approaches you, you're thinking, raw,
something's going down.
But they actually, hey,
but they were actually
all
happy
so friendly, so that was more our mentality or their mentality at the time, and I experienced it going back. But it was weird to actually just see, black people being just so friendly, and especially them as well. So that was a culture shock. But anyway, Fuse came back, and then we did the song and kind of put it online. We spent £30 on the video.
Mad. I mean, just the dancers.
It was just the dancers. He shot the video himself, edited it himself. Like, we nearly didn't do it because every week we had a list of objectives, and it was more to do with the other business I was telling you about. That was like the last thing on the list. And he did it, and we put it online. The next day, it was gone. Mad. Like 10,000 views in the morning, 50,000 in the evening. Like, and then it just
viral. So it was YouTube which made it viral.
Yeah, YouTube.
Dance.
Just
YouTube. To be honest. You know what? I was actually I remember being in Ghana. I can't remember what year it was, but it was December. And what's this radio? I forgot what radio station is. Is it 106 point?
YFM.
YFM. That's it. YFM. Yeah. He was doing an interview.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember it. So my cousin was like, "Who's Fuse? I don't know Fuse." I was like, "I thought it came from Ghana." I was like, "No, Charlie, we don't know this one." So I remember being on the radio, innit? And then like they started speaking to me in Tree, and Fuse was like, "Hey, I'm not really good at Tree, but we were just laughing." But then from there, like, so I actually thought, well, at the time we actually thought it came from Ghana, because it's like people over here thought that the song came from Ghana. It came back over here, innit?
Wow.
But when I was there, my cousin was like, "Nah, the same from Ghana. It's from London."
Yeah.
So it's like it
was a weird
it's a weird one.
No one knew
when I came back to London, I was like, "Yo, this is the song." like was popping in Ghana right now, people were like, what are you talking about? And obviously then it took like a year or so, 2 years to blow up properly, innit? So I remember, I remember the time.
So
nice.
So let's go into the music industry. So for those listening that want to get into like maybe like music management or just in music in general, like what would you say is the best way to start or to get into it or to manage or?
I guess, you know, I always say to artists as such as, you know, try and it's like any business is really, you know, trying to give the people what they want. That's the main focus. I mean, whenever people come up to me and they're like, oh, can you link me in with this label or this company or whatever, and I think, yeah, that's fine, but, you know, really from our perspective and our experience of what we've done, is that we've managed to keep ownership of everything. And I think really once you actually find a way directly to get to your people, you know, you don't actually need the labels.
That's the wave now, right?
It's crazy, and I think it's weird because it looks like people are now starting to forget that again.
Oh yeah.
But you know, because I was there knocking on every single record label every week, like trying to get a deal and but yeah, YouTube it just opened up the market because it lowered their entries to, you know, the barriers to entry. Like you don't need as much, you don't need a deal, you just need to make a good product and give it to the people. You know, and if it works, then you know you've got a good product. You know, and it kind of takes off from there, you know, because really once you've got the people, everything else follows. You know, once you've got the people, radio comes, TV comes, the labels come. You know, so I think people focus a lot too much when it comes to music of trying to get into the industry. You know, but really it's just about giving the people what they want, finding out what they want, listening, get your ear to the street, you know, work out the sound, work out where you might want to take the sound, and try and come in with a niche sort of thing. So I think, you know, my approach is kind of the opposite to most people, is always looking at the people instead of at the industry, because the industry follows the people anyway. So that would be my advice. My advice is you don't need much. You actually don't need much, you know. So
Okay. So
like I said, we started with a £30 video.
Mad.
That was it.
That was it. And he edited himself.
Yeah, that was it.
So you can do for self, innit?
Yeah, that's it.
As long as the product's good and what the people want.
That's it.
Cold. So as a manager in music, like what is your day to day? We know that you just got off a plane this morning, and you do like what do you do on a daily basis, or what's a standard day for you?
So that's kind of a challenge even to now, because it's always kind of changing, and I think sometimes I feel like, oh man, maybe it would have been good if I started off in the corporate world and got experience of how these big businesses do things, you know. But for us, it's weird because the person you are when you start your business, you need to be that person, but when it gets to a certain level, you kind of need to structure things a lot more, and you can't be that. You know, at the start we would just do things off our gut, off our instinct. You know, if we feel it is right, then we do it. You know, and that works, and you need to be that quite aggressive to kind of burst through. But you know, when you're scaling things up now and you have staff and all of these things,
it's not a gut thing.
You try to bring in more structure. So you know, you just try to bring in structure more to the time. But mostly it's just planning.
Got you.
You know, and for us, you know, our business model is that, you know, music is just it's really the shop window.
Okay.
You know, it's not the main
product.
The main products.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just to get you into people's faces, and then you sell your other products.
Got you.
Sort of thing. So we've now launched a line of black dolls.
Dope.
So I don't know if you've seen those. They're called Nana dolls.
Okay.
So we launched those about 2 years ago.
Cold.
And they're flying off the shelves, to be honest. So I managed to get them into Game and ShopRite in Ghana. So those of you who don't go to Africa a lot, it's like Marks and Spencer's or Sainsbury's in Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing. There's a huge market out there, and so you know, for our thing is you know, we're not just selling music. One, where you know, we're selling the ideal. We're selling hope. Do you know what I mean? And inspiration. You know, in terms of actually, you know, people being themselves and actually selling that and actually owning it and selling it. So, you know, we've always been, you know, trying to push Africa, being proud of African and being, you know, just proud as black people of who we are and our history. So the dolls are kind of a perfect offshoot of that because they're all based on 4 different historical women.
Okay.
So we've got one from Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. So the Ghanaian one is Ya Santoa.
Okay.
The Nigerian one is from Kuti.
Okay.
Kuti's
dope
mum.
wife. Mum, that was his wife, so
Mum.
Wait, I remember my dad was telling me about his like first woman to drive
a car in Nigeria. In Africa, sorry, not Nigeria.
Africa, first woman to drive a car.
Really?
Mad. Yeah, my dad was telling me.
She was an activist. She was a part. She used to like work with Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
She actually took Fela Kuti to meet. He didn't go to meet him, but she was a part of his party.
Okay.
So while she was there in Ghana on one of the trips, he actually was there with Nkrumah.
Okay.
So he got to see all of the activism, and that's was very instrumental in his music. So she's really the mother of Afrobeats. You know, if it wasn't for her, it wouldn't have been inspired the way it was, sort of thing. So we need to just big up the women. You know, if we're gonna build something new, sort of thing. So,
The third one.
The third one is from Zimbabwe, Nahanda. So she was like another. She was similar to Ya Santoa, but she was a very spiritual woman.
Okay.
So when the British invaded in Zimbabwe, she was actually galvanizing the people to actually stand up and fight. And actually help protect a lot of the lands. And then the fourth one is Mary Makeba. So she's the singer from South Africa.
Right, okay.
So, but yeah, the one now, the one that we're focused on is Ya Santoa. So I don't know if you know her story, Rahman, but yeah, she's basically when the British invaded Ghana. You know, she was the one that was like, when a lot of the chiefs didn't want to fight, the men didn't want to fight. She was like, yo, if the men are not going to fight, we're going to get all the women and we're going to fight. And they actually did.
That's cold.
And a lot of the men were like, nah, we're not fighting. So she's like, all right, cool. All the women don't sleep with the men until they fight.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and it's crazy. It's like all of these stories, we know about Joan of Arc. We know about William the Conqueror. Where's our stories? It's not like they're not there. It's just that it's been hidden and it needs to be put out there. So, so we're doing that. We're working on a film for that as well. It's gonna be mad.
Yo,
so
that sounds dope.
It's gonna be.
Well, that's the thing. Like in what they don't really say, like on a side note, is that obviously in Africa and stuff like that, women are celebrated, and women are actually respected in that way. It's not really like in the Western culture where there's kind of a hierarchy of men here and then women can't be delve into roles of leadership. So that's where it's
so Africa's leapfrogging and it's ahead in a lot of ways.
100%.
So again, it's about pushing that message. If we don't start screaming it from the roofs, they are not. Like then we can't wait on them to tell our story. So we need to tell it ourselves.
So it seems like from the beginning, from when you guys are doing that course with the youth in your area till now, like there's always been like a social structure to everything that you're doing. Like it's really dope still. So how do you intend to like continue that going forward?
Yeah, so I mean it's beautiful because everything we've started is still going. So that school that we were getting the kids to like raise money for is now grown. So we started with like 5 kids in Ghana. We've now got 200. So it's now fully fledged primary school. So we're now building the secondary school.
Wow.
So we've just built the foundations of the secondary school. So, you know, when Fuse is bringing people to come to Ghana and make music, we always take them to the school. So
dope. Yeah, I think I see Steph out there.
Yeah, Steph has donated to the school. Ed Sheeran's donated to the school. We've had a couple NBA players. Luadeng from Brixton. He came out, stayed with us. He's donated to the school. He gave us 50 grand. And that, you know, that guy, like he's really about it. You know?
That's dope.
You know, and he's really about the Pan-Africanism because he's not from Ghana. He's from, you know. But he's coming to our country, other countries, and supporting our projects. You know, so
salute to the world.
You know, so we're now everything we're doing now is all kind of leading to that because Africa, for us, Africa has a lot of issues, but also a lot of opportunities. But if you're gonna start anywhere, for us, it has to be education. Like that's if you educate the people, then they can solve all of the rest of the issues.
Got you.
You know, so we're now. I'm excited. So I just this last trip, I just had to meet with IBM. So they're now going to support the school and build like an IT suite. So we're going to train the kids to start coding from like 6.
That's wavy.
So they're going to be building apps.
Yeah,
they're going to be building.
Very dope.
They're going to change the world.
Solving their problems.
They're going to change their own problems, and we're going to give them the tools. So, you know, that's the long-term scale, and that's how things have grown and progressed. Some of the kids that did the production on the Zonto were working with them till now, till today.
That's wavy.
They work for us. Do you know what I mean? Some of the volunteers are still working for us. So, some of the ones that are not working for us are doing their own thing. There's a guy, Ashley Verse. He does a lot of photos for like Stormzy, ID Mag. Like he's killing it right now. So it's mad. Like we would never have thought like that boy that was in the project that he's now gonna doing his own thing and killing it in his own way. So it's beautiful to see people grow and develop.
Do their own thing, So even I remember obviously taking it back a step. Obviously I think you remember you describing how like you went to uni and then you was waiting on Fuse to come out of uni and stuff like that, innit? So going forward, like looking back, I ask this all the time, like how worthwhile do you think like how was your experience in uni? Like
uni.
Did it relevant to where you are now?
Yeah.
What did you pick up from it?
Now uni was amazing.
Would you go back again? Really?
Nah, uni was amazing. I definitely go back.
Yeah.
My brother's there now.
Yeah.
One of my younger brothers, he's graduated from the same uni 10 years later.
Mad.
It's mad. But yes, I always encourage them to go to uni because although I'm not directly using all the skills I learned.
That engineering degree.
Yeah, the engineering stuff. But
so what did you study at uni?
Yeah, I did electronic engineering.
Okay.
In the third year, I had to switch to EBM though. I had to mix with the business management because it was the numbers was too much.
Mad still. Trust me.
But it was a lot of transferable skills, like in just terms of like solving problems, building systems to try and solve problems.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it was really the main thing was my network that I got out of
Networking.
that. So when I came out of uni and I was like, all my boys have gone into banking and or engineering or whatever, and they're getting their bonuses. And I'm there like on JSA. Nobody knows I'm on JSA right now. I'm just like, I'm calm. Everyone like is trying to go out and eat. I'm like, I'm busy. Yeah, I can't make it.
Today,
You know what I mean?
got a couple of meetings.
Yeah. But they actually supported me. So when I needed to shoot my videos and stuff like that, they actually gave me money.
That's
like
cool.
So if it wasn't for them, that close network that I created, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. Actually, they supported me financially and actually gave me a lot of advice. So I've developed an amazing network who I'm still in contact with today, and I'm still learning from them. And they've. I'm in their group and they're always talking about stocks and shares, and I pick up a little bit,
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's still that network is gold, So I definitely go back and I do it the same exactly. To be honest.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
So as far as your career in the music industry, you and Fuse, like, would you say there's anything that you regretted?
It's mad. I mean, everything is all learning, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, there's things that we did at the start.
So what's your biggest regret?
Go on.
It's not a regret, but it's just like, sorry, I don't want to swear.
Comfortable here, bro. No.
No, it's like when we first started, it's like you think you're saving money by going to someone cheaper.
Right, okay.
Until down the line, it costs you a lot of money when you really should have gone to a proper professional. So, like when we first started, we had a lawyer looking over our contracts. And these lawyers are expensive, like, the music lawyers, they're like $350 an hour.
Nice.
So we couldn't afford that. So we found the next person at the time who was like maybe 100 or something an hour. And that was way too much for us at the time. But I wish I'd gone for the 350 now because the deal that first person did, we managed to get out of it, but it just could have made life a lot easier.
Yeah.
And we could have gone into different markets a lot quicker
Got you.
at the start. So But I guess that's a lesson. I don't know what else I could have done to have learned that. I just
in the circumstances you had at the time.
I just had to learn it the way I learned it.
Do
you know what I mean? And I guess that's something I would like to go back and slap that boy. But it wasn't his fault, to be honest.
Fair.
So pay for quality, man. Like it always works out in the end, because when you try and cut corners, you end up paying for it.
Down the road.
Down the road sort of thing. So, any other regrets? I don't know, man. Everything is just learning. Everything bad that's happened, you just learn from it.
Fair. Like you always hear like about contracts and people trying to get out of deals and all that kind of stuff. Like, can you give us a bit of like insight into that? Like,
so I definitely say the industry is full of it's sharks.
Yeah,
it's full of sharks, and you need to. Your lawyer is your best friend. Like my lawyer is my best friend.
Mad.
I love that guy.
Mad.
Even now when he gives me the bill, like I don't mind.
That's my dog.
Like,
I know you saved us.
Yeah, he saved me so many times, and it's like when we go to certain rooms or certain situations, then you say the name of the lawyer, they're like,
yeah, you can't do that one. Can't bust that move.
You know what I'm saying? So definitely, like that's your number one friend out of anything you do. Is obviously management and legals. You know.
So what kind of ways are they trying to get you? Like,
so really, this is like what's that film we were saying? Get Out. They're harvesting us, man.
Yeah.
Yo.
Right, it's in the music world. So like for example, obviously Azonto was the new flame, innit? Like, it was the new flavor type of thing, innit? So what happened with that? Like,
no, well, I mean, in the sense that they wanna own everything.
Right. Okay.
So what was great from us from the very start, because we had our own limited company, we always retained ownership over all of our masters, all of our rights, without even knowing what the implications were at the time. So to anyone getting into the business, like, always retain ownership of your rights, of your masters, because literally once they own your master, they are your master.
Mad.
Like that's actually what it boils down to.
Really?
You know, when they just want market share.
Okay.
You know, so they will give you 500k, million or whatever to own your masters. But don't do it.
Don't do it.
You know what I mean? Because what you do is you set up your own company and you license to the label.
Right. Okay.
You license them for a period of time.
Dope.
And then after X amount of years, the rights come back to you.
You have another meeting.
But you're always the masters. Yeah, you have another meeting. But you're always the master of your own destiny.
Makes sense.
You know, the time where that really played out for us, the best was so there was a time when literally had about 4 top 10s just come off the back, and then it was going into Bob Geldof was doing
that's the Live Aid guy.
The Live Aid.
Yeah.
He was doing Live Aid again. So he wanted Fuse to kind of be a part of it. So he hit up Fuse and was like, yeah, we want you to be a part of this. Fuse was like, okay, cool, can you send me the song? So he sent him the song, and it was like, the lyrics were like, there'll be no peace and joy in West Africa this year. The only thing they'll have is tears. The only tears they'll shed is tears of death.
Huh?
Yeah, because and that was really what they were saying, was that like Ebola can be spread by your tears.
Right.
Okay.
So they were like, it was mad. So Fuse is like, yo, I'm going to Ghana this year for peace and joy. Like, I can't sing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and this is New Africa. It's because of you. Like, I was getting bullied at school. I was getting bullied at school because
all those pictures of the flies and
the flies around
big
their mouth,
tummies,
all of these images. And you're trying to say that that's what Ghana is, but I just came from there. It's not that. So I can't sing this. So we were like to him, can you change it? He was like, nah, it doesn't, like, this is what works, this is what gets people, this is what makes them want to give. Like, So,
Mad.
so we're like,
Makes them want to give you though.
We're like, nah, we can't do this. But the record label was like, so you got to imagine, like, Adele was on it.
Jeez.
Ed Sheeran.
Jeez.
Coldplay. One Direction. Like, everyone is on it. Like, so it's going to be a Christmas #1. So we're trying to tell the label, now we can't do it. It's like, what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Like, so I started writing an email to just try and explain to him, like, why we couldn't be a part of it. And so I sent him this email, and basically I was saying, like, you know, whilst it might make people want to give £2 a month
to donate,
and then they, you know, they get on with their life.
Yeah.
They're never ever gonna go to Africa, like, because they feel like the picture that's in their head, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
So that was the long and short of it. Broke it down to him. He was like, oh, okay, wow, I never thought of it like that. And then the head of the label was like, you should write in the Guardian. So me and Fuse drafted it up, and we published it in the Guardian.
Okay.
And it went viral. It became the most read article that year, week. And that year it got like 1 million views. And it helped change a lot the way people think. And so now when Comet Relief are doing their thing, so my wife works in TV. Yeah. But they don't know that she's connected to me. Yeah. But they were like, so they were coming to do Comet Relief. She was at BBC, and they were coming to do Comet Relief, and they were like, there's an article that I read that actually, you know, give you a good idea of how not to just, like, you know, be the white savior sort of thing. Yeah. So, and it was that article sort of thing. So, it's mad to know that, you know, these things are having huge ripple effects. You know, in the way people talk about things.
It's good, man.
But if we didn't own our masters, we couldn't have told the label.
Yes,
we're not doing it.
They would have just.
So what would they just squeeze your peas? Like, how would they use that against you? Like, you have to.
Yeah, you have to contractually. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and it's happened later on down the line, and they don't like me in the label. I'm fighting with them all the time.
Come like them dash.
Yeah, basically. But so I'm fighting with them all the time. But it's. That's it, you know. They really want to own everything, but you know, it's now the time people are wising up and actually owning their own masters.
Yo, that's crazy.
Taking things together.
That's crazy, you know.
Mad.
Yeah, didn't even look at it like that stuff. That's mad.
But yeah, man.
So what? In terms of, obviously, you're saying that you're always rocking out with the label and stuff like that, innit? Like, maybe it's not that deep, innit? I don't know. But like, but like, obviously, because a lot of the common themes as well, like when you step into industry, innit? Yeah. Like, how did you always have that self-confidence in yourself to be like, yo, like, I can step into whatever room and just
like Dame Dash,
or was there like a little bit of a learning period where it's like you're just doing
you're being quiet in the corner?
I guess we always had confidence. I've never really thought about it, but we always had confidence. And just from being in Mitcham, like people try and take our bikes, like yo.
What do you mean?
Fuse, one time I lent my bike to Fuse, and he must have went to Lidl, left outside Lidl, came out, and the bike was gone. Like, so he was running around the whole of Mitcham trying to find my bike because he knew I was gonna be pissed with him. He must have seen the guys that had the bike. Walked up to them and they're like, "Where'd you get the bike from?" Bang. Fuse. Got the bike back. And I heard that story from other people in Mitcham. Like, that's how he got the bike back.
Mad.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of always had that confidence, and I guess education gives you that as well. Like, you know, being going to uni and studying toe to toe with the next guy and knowing that actually you're just as good or better. You know, so that when you come into the industry, into the work environment, you have that confidence to say, no.
Would you say you've had to? Well, it's a bit different because of the industry you're in. But would you say you've maybe had to adapt your personality slightly just to get your point across? Or
I think
do you think it's a thing where you just stay true to yourself?
I've always been someone that I know how to adjust when I need to.
Right. Okay.
So that I didn't have to change that it was kind of it just fitted and helped.
Yeah.
At the time, Fuse is more stubborn, so
Yeah,
he's never.
You know in the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but so
not
he can be in the artist world, and sometimes you do
as
have
an
to.
artist, you can be like that. To be fair.
Yes, but obviously on the business side, so obviously you do have to listen and because they know what they're talking about a lot of the time as well, and take it in, and you just have to try and find where it's relevant to you. Again, there's so many things we had to turn down. You know, one time we went into BBC Radio 1 and they wanted us to
Mad.
they do some madness. There was a show and there was like a load of men dressed in tights and wigs, and they wanted us to do a zonto with it. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Run, like you lot would be still laughing at Fuse now. If I didn't say no.
Slightly.
Do you know what I mean? But it's like obviously, and it's fine. Like we have nothing wrong with people who want to do that. That's fine. But you have to we have to understand our brand and what works with our audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we shouldn't be forced to do things like. And it was actually mad because they were like, oh, have you got a problem?
Right.
They tried to play that card, and they were like,
Yeah.
have you got a problem? Because they run everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you can't have a problem. That is real mafia.
Yeah.
And we don't.
Yeah.
But
Just didn't fit with what you're trying to
it's
do.
not gonna work. So there's a lot of times where you have to just, stand up.
So do you feel like the fact that you had your limited company and you own your own masters and everything, like you felt more confident saying no to things generally and not being boxed in the corner?
I mean, to be honest, it's only later that we realized that that's why they really had to listen.
Got you.
We thought it was because they were listening to us. We was like, no, and they walked away. It was like, damn. Come to realize later down the line, it was actually
Because you own
because
everything.
we owned it. Like,
Yeah.
So
So
and
now
I think it is a bit of both as well.
They're thinking, we can't finesse him.
Yeah. So I think it is a bit of both. But it's you just have to stand your ground most of the time, and it's always a battle, to be honest.
So with the point that you are now, top 10s, Grammy nominated, like how's
Grammy winner.
I mean, sorry, correct. Forgive.
Grammy stay small. Let me put stay small. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Grammy winner. Like, so how's life for you now? Like, you saying, like,
it's crazy,
sweet?
but it's funny.
Enjoyment.
No, it's funny because you're always pushing for the next thing, and it's like you don't really stop and think. It's only sometimes when you sit down or speak to my little brothers, and they're like, oh, they ask me questions, and I'm like, oh, rah, and they're like, we've done well. Do you know what I'm saying? But when you're in it, you don't stop. You don't see it. You really can't see it, and all you know is the next mountain, the next battle that you've got to fight. And it always seems just as big as the one before, or even bigger. So, it's mad. I mean, I think along the way you have to actually stop, and that's something that I have to do, is actually stop and look back and actually give thanks and just appreciate, like, wow, like we're here from where we started when like
Blue tack on the mic outside One Extra Radio at 5 a.m. in the morning, me and Fuse handing out CDs. Like they knew us. Like that's why it was so mad when it actually happened for us, because the DJs were happy because they were like, I remember you lot. Like that's cool.
Like, Tim Westwood remembers us, like outside giving out CDs.
That's
like
cold.
people still have our CDs. Like do you know what I'm saying? So it's nice, but sometimes you just have to just stop and just thank God, because it could all be different, you know what I mean? So, and favor ain't fair, man. You know, it's not like we're smarter than everyone or whatever. Sometimes it's just luck, like, you know. Obviously you got to be talented and work hard. You got to do your bit, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's just timing, like that Azonto at that time. It wasn't even our best song. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was like what was a blessing, because when that came out and everyone's like, oh, one hit wonder, we was like,
okay. Stay there. Watch this.
I'm a 2-hit wonder. I'm a 3-hit wonder. I'm a 4-hit wonder.
Watch this.
Yeah, so we knew. And it's funny, we see people now and they're like, you lot was always confident. You lot always believed in yourself, you know. We're like, rah. We didn't think there was anything, like, it was strange, but to them, they were just like, these guys really believed in themselves, so I think so.
That's cool.
And this, yeah, you just have to, I have to remind myself that sort of thing. And, you know, it's been a blessing.
Cool. So
what, sorry, what would be your biggest hurdle, you think? Like, what's the biggest one you had to be like, okay, wow, how do I overcome this? How did I should say.
I think there's the first thing that springs to mind is just cash flow in terms of business. You know, we literally bootstrapped everything. Yeah. So I borrow from my guys at uni, borrow from my friends, people in the ends that you know. Sometimes my mum, you know, and I have to pay them back in the end, and thank God to be able to do that sort of thing. But yeah, cash flow is always one of those things where it's like, in a business, no matter how big you get, you know, starts at 10, now it's 100, now it's $1 million that you need, like, to flow, make things flow. That's always kind of an issue to kind of get over, but yeah, I guess you're just always trying to find creative ways to raise cash to inject, and then, you know, and grow and manage staff and people. People are crazy. People are crazy. People are stupid. People are like,
wow.
Yeah, and sometimes, yeah, managing people is very, very tough sort of thing. So, you know, yeah, going through that and having to learn those lessons and come out of it on the other side is always something. You know?
Got you. Okay, cool.